A whole lot of questions have been raised regarding Nigeria's child adoption and fostering process. This comes after Fisayo Soyombo's extraordinary undercover investigation on how Arrows of God Orphanage, a private child welfare institution, sold Oriade Unshere, a 6-month-old baby, to two individuals who disguised as a couple looking to adopt a child. In the 19-month-long investigation, the orphanage eventually sold the baby to the couple in exchange for 2 million naira. However, a major bottleneck that was revealed while Nigerians reflected on the story was the unnecessarily lengthy and harrowing period willing couples are most times subjected to in Nigeria when it comes to child adoption.
I'm traveling tomorrow. No, I'm traveling out of the country. So,
Arrows of God, an orphanage home that should be looking after babies, now selling them to the highest bidders.
partially. Like this. Okay, this place.
Not many have heard about it or think it is possible.
Because he's in Abuja, I'm in Lagos.
Joining us now is Fisayo Soyombo, an investigative journalist and founder of the Foundation for Investigative Journalism. Good morning, Fisayo. Welcome to the morning show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, Fisayo, first, congratulations. I read your report. Excellent. You've done it again. But very sad story. The Arrow of God that I know is the one by Chinua Achebe. Chinua Achebe's third novel, 1964. An Arrow of God talks about doing the will of God. It was chief priest in the Arrow of God, but here is Lieutenant Colonel, Reverend Mother, right?
Yeah.
But look, is this thing real? Because reading the story, I was just wondering, what is going on here? People actually sell babies in orphanages?
Absolutely.
Okay, just take us through the story for the benefit of those who may not have read it.
Not in all orphanages, I have to say. The good news is that we went to 4 orphanages and 3 of them, played by the rules, told us, look, we can't give you a baby, you have to go to government. So yeah, they're good orphanages. But with Arrows of God, I got a tip-off in December 2021 that a couple tried to adopt and it was 1.5 million naira and they couldn't afford it. And then I thought, okay, let's confirm if it's true or not. So that I eventually bought one for 2 million naira means it's not an isolated case. We followed that trail. We went to their office at OK Ranla. We got the number of the founder, Reverend DC Ogo, called her. It's instructive to note that from the very first conversation on the phone, when we hadn't met her in person, she said, it's in the East that you are coming to buy that one. So it was sale of a baby, not adoption through the back door. Now, we listed our addresses. My wife and I listed our addresses as someplace in Ikorodu. Nobody came to visit. Arrows of God has 4 outlets in Lagos. 4. And not one of them thought, which one is closest to that Ikorodu address? Let's find out where he lives. They don't know where I work. They don't know any of my friends. They don't know any of my colleagues. Now, since we bought this baby on July 6, they called just once. I didn't answer, and that's the end. They don't know how to reach me. They don't know where to find me. They don't know if I'm a ritualist. And it's been going on for a while.
Wow. Okay, so thanks a lot for just talking about, first of all, saying that not all orphanages are like this. So there's some good ones, very important. But one of the things that I watched the video, and one of the things that you had highlighted was just the process. First of all, the process of going through the legitimate route to adopting a child in Nigeria. That was a barrier. So you had also interviewed someone who had wanted to adopt a child, but just talked about how harrowing the process was. And this is an incentive for couples who want to go through the back door because it's just almost nigh impossible. And there was something else that was mentioned, that there are some people who have been earmarked for there. So there are levels, or there are people in high places who are given priority to adopt children. So it's not just, on the surface level. I thought that was worrying. I'd like you to shed more light on that.
Yes. So there was this woman who spoke to us who had been trying to adopt a child for several years. When she made the application to the government, she waited 2 full years until she got any contact from the government to say, we got your application, let's start processing it. And up to date, she doesn't have a baby, and she started processing it in 2016. That's 7 years with no result. And at some point, it took her 4 years to get, the letter from government saying you can now adopt. And then you have to go around orphanages, and then the orphanages keep saying, no, we don't have, it's not yet your turn, there are people, order from above, that is who we should give. So apparently, it's about money and connection to power. That's one.
So there's a racket there too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, because they told her that, there are order from above, we have to give A, B, C, D, and E. It can't be your turn yet. But also, my wife and I made an application to the Lagos State government. We went to the Ministry of Youth in November 2022. And they texted us the following month to say, we got your application. That's all, till today. So if you apply to government, and in 8 months, there's no action, and someone tells you can buy a baby somewhere, maybe depending on the strength of your conviction, the strength of your character, values, at some point you may budge and say, let's try it. And so it boils back to government understanding that as long as it is tough and complicated to adopt a child legally, that black market will continue to thrive. If government wants people to do things the right way, that right way cannot be more difficult than the wrong way. The right way has to be easier. That's the incentive. It's easier to get it legally, so why should I patronize orphanages selling babies under the table?
So let's go back to the story. Number one question I'd like to ask you, can you regale us with the story in full for those that have not watched it? Number two will be, let's talk about this black market of babies. There was a story about a baby factory we had a couple of months ago, that there were some young girls that they caught somewhere that were giving birth to babies, and they'll take the baby for them and sell. What's this ecosystem for babies? With this baby you have that you bought for 2, where did the baby even come from? What's the backstory of the baby?
Good. Let me start from the last question. So, since releasing the story, there was a trailer on Wednesday, a multimedia story on Thursday, and a documentary on Friday. The authorities have gone to shot Arrows of God.
As usual.
They have one woman called Oluchi Onya, who's like the face of the orphanage at Okeiranla. They have her in custody, and that's all. But it's deeper than that. Yeah. Now, the police released the document to us saying a certain Victoria Onoja had come to say she couldn't take care of the baby, and she was giving the baby out. Meanwhile, Reverend Ogo had told us that the document will be ready once we paid entitlement to the police and the judiciary. Our exact words were, we just have to give them their entitlements. So the police, they are complicit. Now, 2 court officials signed the document saying I was in court, my wife was in court, the welfare officer was in court, and then they followed the process, and they saw that we could take care of the baby, and they gave us. There is a seal. It's an original document. It's not fake.
How much?
Yes, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. From that 2 million. So that's the entitlement. So now, if the government really wants to work, produce the LSE Uzodu. That's like the main guy in court and the second person who signed. Who are they, and why did they sign those documents? How much did they get paid? The guys in the police who brought out the document saying someone came to say she couldn't adopt, who are they? Fish them out. Why did they do it? How much were they paid? The mother of that baby, by now the police should have leads on the identity.
So where's the mother of that baby?
We don't know. We don't know. I don't know. We couldn't continue, running this investigation forever. We thought we found enough. If the authorities are serious, they can follow the trail. They can find them. But what is clear is that Arrows of God Orphanage, Anambra, is a baby factory.
Oh, so they have a baby factory.
Because it didn't look like, okay, so you had asked earlier for me to give you the full, I can give you an abridged story in 5 minutes. Yeah. So first, January 2022, we went to Okeranla to say we wanted to adopt. Oluchi Onya gave us, as administrative assistant, gave us the number of the founder, Reverend D.C. Ogo. I said, call her, but don't tell her that I gave you your number.
Retired.
Yes.
Reverend.
A reverend, a retired lieutenant colonel, retired matron, you know. And then...
I mean, it's Nigeria, we have plenty of titles.
And we called her, and first conversation, she said, it's in the east, you are going to buy that one. There's some trouble in the east because of IPOP. Call me in 2 weeks' time. And then for a while, we couldn't reach her. You know, for like 7 months, we would call, she would not answer, we'd call. Apparently, we came from the outside of the ring. It's not like someone inside the ring took us there. So we knew it would take a while before we were trusted. And so after 7 months and there was no action, we went back to Keranla. And it was then the case of, look, Mama is not answering our calls. We spoke the first time. She said we'll come to the east to buy it, but she's not talking to us any longer. And then the woman goes, as the Oluchi Onya goes, oh, our phone is bad, our phone is bad, our phone is bad. So we felt we wouldn't be able to talk to her because our phone was bad. So we had to buy her a new phone.
Okay, you bought her phone. So
and from the moment we bought that phone, the conversations, picked pace. And then we will talk and talk and talk and talk. They gave us documents, they gave us a list. They told us how much to pay, admin fee of total of 25,500. That admin fee should cover things like coming to check where we lived, coming to check where we worked, knowing people around us, establishing that we were fit and proper. Now, if you are giving a child out, if you are not even collecting money, if it's your brother, your sister, your niece, your nephew that you are giving out for someone, to take care of, you want to know who the person is. I gave medical documents. They didn't contact the hospital. If I had a mental disorder or not, they did not know. So we wrote, like 3 letters had to be from my pastor, the head of my family, any other important person. They didn't call any of those numbers because all the numbers were unreachable. If they dialed just one, they would have known. How can the number of your head of family be unreachable? The number of your pastor is unreachable. Even the VIP, the number is unreachable. Then these guys are not who they claim to be. But they didn't do any of that. And then, so we continued talking on the phone until one day, my wife got 11 missed calls from them. And they said, your baby is ready. So what's the next thing? You have to pay. How much is it going to cost? No, but tell that with Reverend D.C. Ogo on the phone. How much exactly? It will cost a lot. Oh, we know. How much? Oh, Monday. Then she calls her right-hand man. And the guy comes and says, it will cost a lot. I know. She already said, how much? It's like 2 million naira. Okay. I'll give you 1 million naira ahead. And then when we come for the baby, we pay the balance of 1 million naira. She says, no. He says, no, it's not possible. You have to pay the 2 million naira upfront.
Secure the bag.
And so at that time I was out of the country, so I needed to plan my trip. And I was saying, how quickly could we get the documents? That's when the conversation of we just have to pay the police and the courts their entitlements. Once we pay them their entitlements, it normally takes between 2 to 6 weeks. But once we pay them their entitlements, they would fast track it. So one day we got a text. What name do you want to give your baby? We gave them a name. I gave the girl Oriade because I thought, this girl is going to be great. There's going to be some attention on her. So, and then my wife named her Uchechukwu in Igbo. I understand that's God's will. Now, next thing, come pick up your baby. So where exactly
are we? Ask for your marriage certificate to your wife?
No, we got all. And again, that's another problem. In Nigeria, there is no document you can't. You got a
marriage certificate to a woman that you're not married to?
Yes.
In this country for free? Marriage certificate?
There is hardly any document in this country that you can't get. But you see,
wow.
To the naked eyes, you can't establish that those documents are false. But when you make your findings, when you make a phone call to the authorities involved, the health center, the registry, the local government, if they can track from their records if it exists or not. And that's what they didn't do. Now, time to pick the baby. Where exactly are we coming to? When you get to Anambra, let us know. No, but give us an address. No, they didn't. They didn't. I landed in Oka. What's the name of that airport? I landed in Anambra. And I still didn't know where I was going. I didn't know my destination. It took a while. It took us saying, look, I'm already heading to town to lodge somewhere. And then they said, oh, it's at the back of the airport. We slept overnight in Anambra without knowing where we were going. It was on the second day that they said, okay, come to Nkpele Express. When you pass Nkpele Express, then call us. We passed Nkpele Express. Monday told us we should keep driving until the road bifurcated into two. And he would be there waiting for us. We got to that point, we didn't find him. After we waited for like 10 minutes, look, you have to tell us which of these two directions. And he said, oh, take the right turn. We went right. Keep driving until you get to so place, you see me. We never saw him. We drove until the road became bad. And then at some point, we saw an Arrows of God orphanage. Now, even after signboard, even after seeing that signpost, we still didn't know where it was. It was in the middle of nowhere. Then we saw a hill to our right. We climbed the hill. I mean, if your car is not, that hill is a test of roadworthiness of any car. So, we managed to climb the hill, and then we're exposed to an expanse of land. Only one building. There's no orphanage that can be set up in that kind of location. You don't want your funders to reach you. You don't want your donors to reach you. To what end? It's an expanse of land. If someone shoots you there, nobody gets to know. And then we got in. We didn't see kids. He didn't look like an orphanage. One tough-looking guy, two teenagers. My wife said she saw some ladies, that appeared to maybe have been pregnant, just caught a glimpse of. But it didn't look like an orphanage that was in operation. And the woman came out, prayed, handed over the baby to us, prayed for us, and discouraged us from traveling by air, At the time we got the baby, it was 5 months old. At the time they told us the baby was ready, they contacted us in early June, that the baby was ready. The baby was born February 2, 2023. So March, April, May, June, she was 4 months old when they were, ready to give her to us. And when we wanted to leave, you can't travel by air. It has to be by road. The ministry frowns against people traveling by air. But if really it's a legal process, no wrongdoing, then I should be able to fly with my child. But she made sure we traveled by road. And the most important thing is, up till now, they don't even know who they gave that child to. They don't know where to find me. They don't know where to find my wife. That's the end.
To save time, the material is out there. And I hope that people will take advantage and just read or watch the documentary, just by way of updates. Number one, where is the baby now? Because we understand that the orphanage has been sealed off and that, some arrests were made. So what is the state? Because nobody even knows the identity of the people who sealed off the place, other than that some NAPTIP officials were seen or some Lagos state officials were seen. So where is the child now? And is there any investigation that you are aware of ongoing to at least track down all those people who produce those fake documents, whether in the judiciary or in the police? And apart from Oluchi, who we're told has been taken away into custody, have they been able to arrest the matron herself who set up the place? And then in the course of 19 months, you alone took 3 wives, who helped you with the investigation. So, what is the story behind the story? Maybe you don't want to say that on television. When we are all set, you will tell me, because Naman, you be 3 wives in 19 months. Anyway, the updates.
Quotes.
Yeah, so the baby, first of all, when we go back to Lagos, we had to find our private care. And of course, I alerted NAPTIP way back July 17, because I didn't want to run foul of the law myself, holding on to a baby without the right process. And NAPTIP finally took custody of that baby on Thursday or Friday. So the baby is now in a NAPTIP safe house. An arrest has been made. Reverend D.C. Ogo, right now, I don't think she's in custody. No one has told me anything about that. Efforts to track the people in court and the police currently not going on. And that's the most important. We have to, the government can't just go for the low-hanging fruits. We have to get the people who are thickly involved. And those are the guys behind the scenes.
Well, we hope that this time around, government will wake up and do what is right, because this is frightening, that babies are sold in a country where, well, there are so many people looking for fruits of the womb, but things are done legally in other places. And to think that in your report, you pointed out that this orphanage has received so much support from people who donate things, from celebrities who go there to celebrate birthdays, thinking that they are engaging with a legitimate, properly set up orphanage. But well, thank you for the good work that you do and for your courage, because it takes a lot of courage to go into those forests to pursue a story. Thank you very much, Fisayo.